Stop the press is exactly what I wrote when I was researching this shoe. As you know, every single day, daily content about sneakers, upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today we're looking at a shoe that I just was like, as soon as I saw one feature on it, I literally wrote down, stop the press, because this is absolutely fire. And I'm talking about an incredible shoe. Now we're on the Kyrie 7s. Every single time I talk about Kyrie shoes, I do one particular thing. It's like when I do the LeBrons. Every time I talk about LeBrons, I talk about the LeBron 17 Harlem Fashion Row, because that was the peak for me on there. Every time I talk about Air Force Ones, I moan about the tongue that it says Nike Air Force One. Every time I talk about Dunks, I mention about the lopsided branding on the heel. And every single time I talk about Kyrie 7s or Kyrie 6s or any Kyries, I always talk about this right here, which was the Kyrie 5s, Iket or Concepts, depending on which way you want to look at it, which is exactly the same title that we give to today's shoe, the Kyrie 7 Iket or Concept, whichever way you want to look at. Concepts, the brand who's making this collaboration, and Iket is tying it right back to Egypt. Massive influence of Egypt on Kyrie Irving and on his shoes, so that comes out in this shoe very much. And we're also going to have a little sideways step today to talk about quality control, because I got a comment from a viewer that really troubled me about quality control. So there's a lot to do, a lot to get into today as we take a close-up look at the upcoming release of the Kyrie 7 Iket. This is the Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channelです。毎日アップするので、毎日見てください. And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today in the spotlight is a Nike Kyrie 7 Iket, which is coming at us from the Concepts brand out of Boston, doing a collaboration, which they often do with Kyrie Irving and his absolutely stonking set of shoes, run of shoes, all the way up to the 7s now. And like I said already, the Kyrie 5s were like a really high point for me, but these guys are pretty close. They're not quite there because those 5s were so beautiful, but these guys are not far behind. And the brilliant thing about these shoes, absolutely phenomenal thing, is that when you get closer and closer to them, they get more and more beautiful. So we're going to get into all that today. I'm going to bring you something incredible about the lateral swoosh. Just phenomenal beauty on the toe box and the upper that's in there. Craziness on the medial side. Honestly, there's just a lot to get to, but I'm going to quickly dip into that quality control issue first, and then we'll come back to these guys. And what it is a line that I've pushed at the channel a lot is the Nike Air Force One craft line, the 07 craft line, which is a beautiful, high quality premium set of Air Force Ones. But I heard from a viewer out there that they had some real trouble with quality control, and their was it the Obsidians or was a different one? Can't remember which one it was, but it's a recent Air Force One drop, and they said it's just awful quality control, and then listed a bunch of shoes that they've got from Nike recently with lopsided swooshes, glue all over the place, just tons of defects on the shoe as far as the quality control is concerned, sending back shoe after shoe after shoe. And my question on that was, did it all start with the Bred 4s? I remember when I got my Bred 4s, there were a lot of people talking 2019 about the low quality on those guys, and the quality control just wasn't there. And maybe there's a thing at Nike these days that they're trying to churn out a little bit too much and then not doing enough, if you know what I'm saying. So sorry, buddy, to hear that the quality control was missing on those shoes. I think it was the SB Dunk Low Pro thingy Wasted Youth that was the shoe that he dropped a comment on for me, so thanks for that. But sorry to hear it's not working out. But hopefully, somewhere along the line, maybe a shoe like this, maybe not your style, but a shoe like this would have the proper quality control on it. So that's bad news, sad news from a viewer out there. But hopefully there are some W's to go along with those L's as well, you know what I'm saying. But now, into the shoe, let's get into it and talk about all the features on there. Seriously, an awful lot, and I'm just going to crack through all of them as fast as I possibly can, because there's just too many to slow down on. So bang, first things first, straight into that lateral swoosh. Now, I already did, I think my only Nike Kyrie 7s that I did was the Chinese New Year's, and I talked endlessly about how beautiful the swoosh was on the side. Sorry, Chinese New Year's, this is nicer. I was floored when I saw this swoosh and this sort of feathered, kind of layered effect on there, and gold on the side of this beautiful blue, aqua blue, maybe even a jade blue, beautiful, absolutely stunning swoosh on the side of this shoe, and it took my breath away. Didn't realise from afar how detailed it was, and then you get close up, just like we've got on here, and you're thinking, man alive, that is exceptional. And then you flip them around and look at the medial, and you're like, seriously? Really? You put that on the medial side? That's outrageously cool. It's very cool because of all the Egyptian sort of feel to that on the medial side. There was a huge element of the Kyrie line, but a massive element of the Ikets that he does in collaboration with Concepts. But then you look closely at it and you see there's a hidden swoosh just tucked at the bottom of it. So it's not just the Egyptian branding, the Egyptian sort of detailing on the medial side, but also that collaboration with the swoosh that's going on there. And you're like, man, that's really cool. The swoosh on the lateral side's epic. The detailing on the medial side's fire. Man, these shoes are great. Then you have a look at the upper and you go deep on that toe box and it's like, what on earth is that? That is, I think, gorgeous. I think gorgeous is the word that we're going to go for. It looks like some kind of leaf effect or something. I have no idea how to describe it. I'm glad I've got the green screen to actually show it to you because it really is a stunning upper around the toe box on these guys. I think it differs a little bit as you get to the further back end of the shoe towards the ankle and the heel. But when it comes to that toe box, the branding on there, not the branding, the detailing on there is absolutely first class. But I was thinking about branding because you go back from that and you get to the lower part of the lace stays, which are riddled with Egyptian motifs. Now there's four, two on each side, sort of, I don't know what we'll call them. They're not eyelets, but they're sort of lace stays. Can we call them lace stays? Whatever they are, they're showing up on the green screen here, and you can see they've got some Egyptian branding going on there on both, two on the lateral side and two on the medial side. But also then right in the middle of that, at the very bottom of the laces, you've got that tiny little loop that the lace runs through, and the all-seeing eye. Very, very Egyptian. Very cool way to sort of cap that beautiful toe on these guys. But then you go back from that all the way up the tongue to the top of the tongues there, and you get the mismatched Kyrie branding on one tongue and then the Concepts branding on the other. Very, very cool. And you keep going on from that, and it's hard to look at something other than the insole. You're looking at the insole thinking beautiful, you know, with the Concept branding on one and different branding on the other, but they're overshadowed by the lining. I've never seen a lining like this on a Kyrie shoe. It's absolutely first class. An all white lining with tiny light blue squares running right the way through it in a sort of geometric pattern. It is absolutely stonkingly fine. These are really, really nice shoes. I mean, the color's beautiful, the whole thing's beautiful. What surprised me was that the heel was so simple. I was expecting a bit more on the heel, especially when you think back to the Kyrie 6s with a bunch of Egyptian sort of all-seeing eyes and Egyptian branding on the back there. But you look at these guys, very, very simple. It simply says Concepts in gold across the back of them. And then we get to the sort of outsole, midsole unit. Before we go downstairs, we'll go to side stairs, if that's the thing, and look at the front end of the shoe, and you see that kind of jagged effect on the orange midsole that turns up and then crashes together with the blue from the upper on there. And then when we flip them upside down, you get to see a really wild outsole on these guys with tons of detail and sort of, it's all orange, but the grip and the mold of it is absolutely beautiful. And then right slap bang in the middle of there, you've got the Kyrie branding to top it all off. So I think that's every feature on the shoe, but there's just so many. I knew that I was going to struggle to sort of remember them all and get them all in here. So if I've forgotten something, if something slipped my mind that I should have mentioned about it, big apologies. But for me, an absolutely fire piece of footwear. These guys are top notch. I'm absolutely loving these guys, and hopefully you guys are feeling that. Thinking back to those Kyrie 5s, the original for me, the top, I should say, the high water mark as far as Kyrie's go, and these guys are pretty close behind. So with that being said, it's time for me just to chip off. I've given you as much as I can about this shoe, and hopefully you felt it as much as seen it, because it's a big shoe, it's a great shoe, it's a beautiful shoe, and I hope you're in agreement with me on that. Definitely let me know in the comments down below if you are. For now though, it's time for me just to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out the content, and I'll remind you I do this every single day, and that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.